Alright, carrying on with the wild one, we want to get to the bottom of this noisy gearbox. So my initial thought was to clean and oil the bushes in the motor, and Uncle Bob's RC actually commented on the last video and said to do just that. So I was on the right track there. I have my power source here. We're just going to take this downstairs, give it a blowout, run it in some demineralized water, give it another blowout, drop in some oil. I know it's not proper motor bearing oil, but that's all I got. And I'm going to try that now that this gearbox is a little notchy on this side. So we're going to have to pull the drive shafts out and have a look what's going on there. Right, we'll give that a go. So first step, we just need to blow out the motor, get all the dust out of the motor as best as we can. I'm just using the compressor with the air blower. The first bit of air just got out a lot of dust. I'm just trying to get as much as I can out of the rest of it. So now this is something I've never done before, but yeah, we're going to suspend the motor in some distilled water or demineralized water and just run it. Probably going to run it for about 10 minutes, and just to clean those brushes and armature up and get whatever dust that's left in there, try and clean it out. And the water did end up looking a bit murky at the end of it, so it actually did something. Like I said, I've never done this before. I've never even done this to run in motors. We never run our motors in. Perhaps we should start doing that. And of course I didn't put enough water in, so let's just top it up a bit. And there's still not enough water. I could drop the motor down a little bit lower, but that was my last zip tie, so there we go, just topped up over the motor. Now I'm just hooking it up to our power supply, which is our servo tester and motor tester. Any second now. There we go, positive on, negative on. In a minute, I seem to have dropped it. Here we go, negative on, and straight up you'll see all the water bubbles generated by the motor spinning. They did dissipate after a while, and it seemed to have done the job. So back to the shed with the compressor, and just blowing as much water out as I can. Now I did spend a bit of time on this because we don't actually have any electrical cleaner to spray in it to disperse any of the water that's left over in there. I do have WD-40, which is a water dispersant, but that's also kind of it leaves a gummy residue, so I reckon that wouldn't be good for the brushes. So you can see here the stalk of the air blower fits just nicely into that hole in the motor, and I'm just spinning the motor to get as much air out as I possibly can. And we also let it air dry a little bit after this as well. So now it's time to oil the bushes. Now I don't have any actual motor bush oil, so we're just using the trusty old 3-in-1 oil. It's fairly thin oil, so hopefully it'll do the job. Now yeah, just pooling up some oil in the end bell there, and I did eventually just let this sit for a good 5 minutes and let it soak in, and then just sort of wiped up the excess. Okay, so same with the pinion end of the motor, just holding the motor in the vise. Now this vise does have soft nylon jaws, so it's not hurting the motor at all. And again, I just let that sit for a good 5 minutes, and gave the pinion shaft a bit of a spin every now and then. I think I might have ended up screwing the pinion back on temporarily just to get a bit of grip on the shaft itself, and that actually seemed to work out pretty good. Okay, so motor is back in, just roughly for now. I haven't put the cover plate on yet, and I haven't tidied up the wires at all, because it's most probably got to come out again anyway to see what's going on with this clicking rear end. I probably should have tucked them away a bit neater, but everything's turned on. Yep. So let's see if we still have that horrible vibration. Well, that noise is gone, that's a good thing. But you have a look at the left-hand wheel here. After I back off the throttles here, the left-hand wheel locks up before the right-hand side, so there's definitely something going on either in this hub or inside that differential. So that's the next job. Let's get to the bottom of this gearbox issue. Start with the simple thing first. Let me get a dish. Basically I'm looking for anything that shouldn't be there or isn't quite how it should be. There's really nothing going on. Alright, so I'm going to pull this interior out. Just going to drop this rear trailing arm and basically see if we've got a failed bearing or there's a problem with the dog bone. If not, we're going to have to remove the gearbox and take that apart and see if there's a problem with the actual differential, which I really don't feel like doing. Can't really tell if that's gritty or not. There's nothing really. Nothing really out of place there. That all feels pretty good. I could probably do with some re-greasing it. So that's not great news. Oh well, that means this gearbox has to come out. Right. Okay, so gearbox is out. All the screws are removed. Let's see if we can. That's a tight fit on there. Before I pulled the drive cups out, it was notchy. So now 850 sitting there. I actually never put a proper 850 ball bearing in there. I just didn't have any. So we have our 850 and thrust washer still in place. Our idler gear. Nothing really looks. Those teeth do feel a little, a bit of an edge on that one side. Maybe that's just a pinion setting. So the differential. Yeah, that does feel crunchy. Right, so I'm going to actually just clean all this up with some degreaser and basically just re-grease everything and put it back together. I'm guessing there, I don't know how, but could have had a bit of dirt get in there. The teeth in the gears don't look bad. There's no teeth missing, but we'll give it a clean up and go from there. So I've degreased all the parts just with normal degreaser. They're just sitting in hot soapy water now, just rinsing off. They all turned up pretty good. There's no missing teeth on the gears or anything. But here we have the dish that I degreased them in. We're just going to pour it through this old rag and see what kind of metallic deposits, I guess, or dirt, or because there was some crunchy stuff when I was degreasing it, and yes, there's quite a bit there. A lot of that white stuff you're seeing, I think, is, yeah, that's just still grease that hasn't broken down yet. So I was trying to do this without making a mess. Didn't quite work out, did it? Back into there. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but there's a few shiny bits in there that look like they can only be metal. And there's quite a bit of gritty stuff in there. There's a big chunky piece there. Don't know if it's bits of metal gear or bits of dirt that somehow got in there. But that did explain the chunkiness of the diff before we pulled it apart. So all we've got to do is dry all this off, take it upstairs, put the car back together, and see how that worked out. All our parts have been cleaned up, degreased. I've put the transmission back together just dry for a start, and just checking everything's moving as it should, and there's no grittiness there. Nothing's catching up. Everything feels fine. And now we can pull it all apart again and apply all our grease. Now, if you saw the Fast Attack vehicle video build, you would have seen that I had quite a bit of trouble getting the transmission to work freely. This is the exact same transmission. We even cross-referenced the manuals, and everything is exactly the same. And this one goes together with no trouble at all. The Fast Attack vehicle transmission goes together a little bit tight. I even tried taking this thrust washer out of the Fast Attack vehicle one, and then it was way too loose. So I don't know, and a few other people had the same problem. So I don't know about that one. So I've got brand new Tamiya grease here for the transmission. Yeah, it's a boy. Boy, is it a boy. Now, probably because we're not building this kit like the brand new build kind of thing, and I do have quite a bit of grease left over from previous kits, I am not going to be liberal with the grease, or I am going to be liberal with the grease. I don't know, I'm going to use a lot of grease. As much, well, I'm not going to overdo it with the grease, because you can use too much. Now all that grittiness that was in the transmission, I'm hoping that was dirt, although I don't understand how dirt would get in there. The gearbox was pretty well sealed on these cars. The other thing to look at there is metal off gears, which the aluminium pinion that runs on this spur, they're known to break down and just get chewed up, so that could have been half of the problem. What am I doing? I need this one, don't I? So I need a outdrive and this gear, although I've already greased up the bevel gears. I'm going to grease up this side gear as well. I'm going to grease up this main gear once everything's already in there. The manual does tell you to tape the outdrive to the casing temporarily. I'm not going to do that. They go together pretty easy and pretty quick. We need, might just put this gear in here. I just said I was going to do that, didn't I? So I'll grease this up now, if it'll actually go on there. Yeah, I'm not worried about using a lot of grease on this. When they do run, they throw the grease off and pretty much use whatever they want. As long as you've got a fairly good amount of grease in there. Obviously, if this is a new kit build and this is the only, maybe your first build, I had a rag somewhere. Yeah, obviously, if this is your first build, you would have to be somewhat conservative with the grease so you don't run out. But like I said, I have quite a bit of grease left over, so I am going to use it. And Zach's just joined us on the show. Hello, Zach.
Hello.
Zach's been fairly busy all this weekend trying to get work done around the house for us, and he's done an excellent job. So most of this video I've been flying solo. Zach's helped me out with a few things, Of course he's going to edit the video. You haven't really missed much there. I did put the transmission back together dry and tried it out. Everything seemed fine. See, look, that's just about a whole tube of grease on this one transmission set. You don't have to worry about these bushings and washers lining up just yet, because they should do just that when you put the outdrive in, just like that. You see that is tight, but that's because of the grease, and it's got a bit of resistance there now because of the grease. So, but if you were to hold that spur gear and let everything fall out. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to put some screws in. So I've just got to find the correct screws. There's a 12, 12. Okay, I've just got the manual off to the side here, just so I can cheat. Putting the actual gears together is no big deal, but where the screws go is kind of important. So you get a don't panic sticker at the front of that set. That's what it reminds me of, the electronic book out of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. That's how that opens up. Oh, hey nerd. Alright. Back to non-nerdy things. Toy cars. You just got to kind of watch where your screws go, because some of them, like these screws on the bottom, are for your main mount, and you know, so forth and so on. Put stuff in the wrong holes and stuff won't fit later. That's why it's always handy to keep the manuals. And there's another 3x12 down here. Okay, now that's screwed together, I can stick a finger in there and hold that spur gear. And yes, if you remember before we dismantled it, that side cup was hanging up, getting caught as the right side was turning, which I put down to all that grit in the gearbox that you would have seen when we sieved out the degreaser. Alright, that's a gearbox built. We can put this brace on the bottom now, and we have a 3x6. Really don't understand why they're using machine screws into plastic. And just have to get that lined up. So this brace here, this metal brace, there's this part sticking out the back here. Right. Now a 5mm ball connector fits into that, such like I've done with the fast attack vehicle. See that in there? So effectively we have ourselves a tow ball for a trailer. So I'm thinking, even though I wasn't planning on running this, I obviously already have, but not heavy, this could be a tow vehicle for the wild one. All I'd have to do is make a trailer. I've got some spare Hornet style front wheels. I think I've got 4 of them. I reckon wouldn't be hard to knock up a car trailer, and then you just use one of the ball connectors, the plastic ball connectors on the end of the drawbar on the trailer. Bingo bango, got yourself a car trailer. That'd just make things look a little bit cooler going out to the track instead of carrying them like an adult. Alright, so it's time to put our transmission back into the chassis. We shouldn't need any more of this grease anymore. I do have the anti-wear grease for the dog bones. Now, yeah, right, so it's your outer drives that receive the O-rings, which I haven't cleaned, but they should be
fine. I'll give them a wipe over before I put them in. Right, so this gearbox just simply slides in thusly, and we have a self-tapping screw on one side and a machine screw on the other side, which again confuses me. But either. What is going on here? Ah, I got the... you idiot. Oh, I had the transmission back to front. That's where the motor goes is the rear. I had it in the other way. Okay, that was a bit silly of me. Read the plan, man. Right, I was wondering why there wasn't a hole there for this, for these screws. I really need decent light over this bench. We've pretty much only got a little desk lamp, LED desk lamp over the top here. It really doesn't spread a lot of light at all. It looks bright through the camera, but it's this area here that's bright, and yeah, it's really not effective. Not that effective. I better stop talking and get into it and get this car finished, eh? Otherwise this will be another long video for you guys. I thought that was wrong then because none of that matched up. Okay, so these, I'm going way off camera, off camera there, aren't I? Sorry guys. So, as long as they're lined up, they should just go straight in. Which they do. The other thing I love about these cars, it's fun building them, it's fun driving them, but it's also just as much fun fixing them, I reckon. As long as nothing's like really, really broken, or you've got to wait weeks and weeks for your parts to turn up. Alright, so we've already done that, and we've already done that. Alright, we can put our half shafts in. So they're obviously dirty inside. I haven't actually cleaned them. I didn't know what the degreaser would do to the rubber. I didn't really want to risk it. That's a petroleum based degreaser, that one. If I had a water based degreaser, I'd use that. So again, cotton buds come in handy for lots of things when you're building a car. And I'm just getting in there and sort of just swirling the cotton bud around. See, that feels, what I'm actually feeling for is grittiness, dirt, and it actually feels pretty good. So we are good to go for the dog bones, half shafts, drive shafts, whatever name you feel like calling them. So in the same step, it's telling you to insert your out drives. So we've got to put O-rings in there. So I'll just give these a wipe off. I've also replaced all the ball bearings too. There were 6 ball bearings. The other ones didn't seem bad. There's one that looks like it's sort of collapsing its rubber seal there a little bit. So once I saw that one, I decided just to replace a lot of them. They're really not expensive, although we are running out. So we're going to have to do another, either do another bolt buy, or what we've started doing recently is just buying a bearing set for the particular kit that we're building, and always buying them through Plague Bearings. Not associated with them at all, damn it. It's just a really good product. And they got fast delivery too. Alright, so my usual trick is to put some of this anti-wear grease on one of the dog bones and use that as a bit of lubrication to get it through the sock. And then you can grease up the other dog bone, and you generally don't get a lot of grease on your fingers that way. There's a little tip for you. You do get some grease, but you won't end up covered in it. This stuff is very sticky. So I'm just gonna, as we're going, I'm just gonna fit one to the transmission. Let it dingle dangle there. Another dog bone, another sock. Zach's just returned with my cup of coffee. Thank you, mate. Because it is morning here. Easter Monday. What better way to spend the morning than to get your fingers greasy fixing a wild one. So the RC track is actually mowed now. It was overgrown to buggery because of all the end of summer rain that we had, and we just did not have a chance to get out there and do anything about it. So track is still covered in grass, but it's short. So we are going to get out there today and poison it. I might re-grease that one. I'm going to need more grease. I'm not using anti-wear grease on that because that is a bit thick. Yes, we are going to get out the track and poison it, and hopefully we can get it back down to dirt very soon. Need these half shafts. This is one of those parts where you've just got to kind of hold your tongue right. You've got to line up that dog bone with that cup at the same time sliding on that pivot shaft, which happened pretty straightforward this time. And now we have, these are actually marked left and right, so that makes it easy. And that goes underneath, doesn't it? That's right. A retaining bracket here. If you can, I've still got a screw in there. Alright, so we got it out. So this retaining bracket here. Now I actually had trouble putting this in on the fast attack vehicle. It was the other side I had trouble with actually. For some reason it just did not want to line up. I don't remember having the same problem with this one. Where did they go? Right there. These are 3x6 machine screws. See what I mean? I've done it. Yeah, you can probably see. What I mean about the light, I mean, it looks bright, but as soon as you start doing something, everything's just cast in shadow. And my eyes are not very happy lately, so it makes things a bit difficult to see. Now these shocks, we have a screw, then a washer, then onto the swing arm. You just need to compress the shock a little bit. Thank you, Bella. There's another dog here. Rinse and repeat for the other side. We'll bring you back once I've done that. Okay, so didn't show you a lot of that, but we're all back together. It feels nice and smooth again. Got that little bit of notch in it, but I think that's just the nature of that differential. Obviously we've got to tidy some of the wiring up and put the interior back together properly. But that's everything's turned on, ready to go. We have radio connection. Now if we watch these two back wheels, they both stop at the same time now. Exactly what we wanted. And that horrible bearing vibration is gone. So thank you, Uncle Bob's RC, for pretty much just backing up what I thought was the problem anyway. But thanks for making a suggestion. That was great. So in a matter of seconds this is going to be back together, and we can close out this video. There we go, all back together, all working, all looking pretty. Like I said, we're not going to run it with these gold rims. We're going to put the white rims back on it. there you go. I didn't think such a quick maintenance job would end up being 2 videos, but there you have it. It only ended up being 2 videos because we had a little bit of issue with the gearbox and motor, but that is all fixed now and everything's good to go. So again, thanks for watching, thanks for your support, and have a great day and enjoy the last, well, one depends where you're watching from. It might not be your last day of the long weekend. I don't know, do you get long weekends overseas for Easter? I don't know, we do. We get 4 days off because we're pretty spoiled here. So enjoy your Easter and see you on the next video.